welcome to In Conversations. This week our guest is Louise Kiely, who is one of Ireland's premier casting directors. Louise, thank you very much for coming in.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking me.
Good. How are you?
Very well. Good. Not bad.
Good. Can you tell us a little about your upbringing?
Yes, indeed. I was born in Cork and grew up in Maynooth until I was 10, which is in Kildare. And then my dad got a job in South Africa, in Johannesburg. So we moved there when I was 10. So I did all my high school career there, and then came back to Ireland when I was 18 to university in Cork. Did my Cork years there, and then came to Dublin in 99. So I've been in Dublin a long time now.
And was there any particular reason why you came back, or did you want to
come back to Ireland?
Yeah, come back to Ireland.
Yeah. My dad was working in the Middle East at the time. Okay. I had finished my high school career. My mum, the country at the time was kind of scary, maybe a little bit dangerous. You know, I mean, it was in sort of political turmoil at the time. I mean, like, there was good stuff obviously had come out of it, but it wasn't the safest place. So Mum wanted to come back to Ireland. And we did. So I applied on my CAO application from Johannesburg and came back and got offered. I think I got offered something in UCD, although maybe I just made that up. I don't know. I have a recollection of there was an option of Dublin somehow.
Okay.
And then they offered me law in UCC, so I was like, I'll go there.
Because Cork stuck in your mind, and Cork was what you wanted to do. Right.
Yeah. I was kicking and screaming.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned the fact that you did law in UCC, you know, you have to ask, when you go and say you did law in UCC and then you went and trained as an actor in the Gaiety.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah, how did it get to that? How did you go, I'll go do law, and then...
Sure. Do you know, I always wanted to be an actor, right? Okay. So, like, through school, I wanted to be an actor, and that was my dream. And my mother sent me to this, guy who was really expensive and one of those career guidance people, and he wasn't anything to do with the school or whatever, but it was like a full day of these, you know, how does this triangle work with this square question, you know, one of those, right? So it was like for the whole day, and at the end of the day he went, well, I can see that you definitely would like to be an actor, but you're going to be a barrister. So I was like, right, Mum, I'm going to be a barrister. So this, I don't know, he like inceptioned it in my head or something that I had to do law. No, well, also I did audition for Trinity and I didn't even get a recall, which was, yes, age 18, devastated. So,
we've all been there.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah. So it was like, I'll be an actor, and then I was like, okay, but I'll be a lawyer as well. It was like the second option that was always sort of floating around.
And did you mind? Did you think, law, I don't mind that, I'll go for that, okay?
I don't think
or was it kind of
about it that much.
Yeah.
Do you know, as in, like, I thought, okay, I'll go and I'll do this course, but like 6 weeks in, I was doing a play down in the Granary Theatre with Des Bishop. Do you know what I mean? As in, me and Des were doing... no, that wasn't the first play. The first one, Cillian Murphy was directing with myself and Ursula Rani-Sammer. She's a writer, we're in it. So I spent a lot of my time in the theatre, and, you know, I joined every committee. I'm a total joiner. Do you know, as in, like, Rag Week and everything. So college was, like, good, but it only took up, like, kind of quarter of my brain, really. Do you know what I mean? I studied and I did it and I kind of got through it, but I don't think it ever was particularly interesting. But college life was brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Yeah, no, do you know, it just is, like, it's just a brilliant place and a brilliant time.
No, I think that happens to a lot of students. They go in, they do the course, and then they love college, but then they come out of it and they go, what the hell did I just study?
I don't know anything. Like,
what am I supposed to do with my life now?
Yeah, exactly.
College is over.
Yeah. Damn it. And also I do think, though, that if I was the age that I am now and I went and did law in UCC, I would probably come out a far more educated human being. I wouldn't just be learning the essentials to get, you know, second class honours, which I'm very proud of. Do you know what I mean? It's not even a 2-1, it's not a 2-2. But it was just basically to kind of do it and see what happened afterwards. I didn't think beyond what I was to do.
Okay, so obviously then your passion for acting ran through in college, and you decided that after you finished law, you wanted to continue it on further. Yeah. So you went to the Gaiety. Yeah. And you spent how many years?
2 years, full time.
2 years, full time course.
Yeah. Wow. So my dad was in the Middle East at the time. My mum was with him at the time, and I auditioned for Patrick Sutton and I remember they were like, be a circle in the afternoon, and we did all that, and then I got offered a place and I was like over the moon, and it was actually before I did my finals in UCC, so I was like, I'm good to be an actor now, so I don't need to study. But actually then I had to make the decision, okay, get your finals at least. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was no question that I wasn't going to do it.
Good.
Because they were all delighted.
So you went on with I think you went and tried acting for a while.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was very successful. That's why I'm sitting here as a casting director. Yeah, do you know what? It was a much harder life than I think, and you can tell anybody. It's a really hard life, and there's a lot of rejection, which is very hard to take unless you're able to take it. Do you know what I mean? And I found myself,
They don't train you for that in college.
No, they don't. And I suppose there's a couple of things. Obviously, you know, you have to have an incredible amount of talent, which is what I was saying to people today. Of course you do. But I think I was pretty lazy. I won't lie. I didn't learn my lines going in for auditions. I remember going out, looking at the lines on the dart and going, yeah, this will be grand. Do you know what I mean? So a bit of a wing and a prayer kind of stuff. And then just feeling like it was really hard. As in, I just kind of went, I'm an intelligent girl, what am I doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the time I was in Castaway Actors Agency, which is a lovely community because they're actors of all ages and they're incredibly welcoming and they give you very valid, lovely, warm advice. And it's a very nice place to be and go. And when you have to work in the office, and I really liked working in the office, and I was like, I'll be chairman, of course I will. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I suppose I just kind of found myself really enjoying the office of Castaway, doing those kind of deals and all that stuff, and then kind of fell into it really. I didn't train with anybody, I didn't assist, and people say, how do you become a casting director? I'm like, I don't really know. There's not even a course. That's cool, because
that was actually my next question, so that's fine, I won't ask that.
Yeah, no, sure. I have no idea. I suppose the short answer is I would say, well, the best thing is to, assist a casting director for a go. But that's not what I did. We just winged it and asked advice, and people were good enough not to lie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Castaway Agency was obviously a big influence then. It was a big help.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
For sure. And myself and Orla Fitzgerald set that up together. We just literally one day went, do you want to do this? And she went, yeah, okay. And then we had a business lunch where we sat down and went, okay, so this is what we're going to be now. And we put out an email that evening and went, okay, so hello, our name is we're casting directors. And it was called Kiely Fitzgerald at the time, Kiely Fitzgerald Casting. And then we got a job, within 2 hours, which was to cast a short film for Liz Gill. So we were like, oh my God, that's amazing. So we were like, yes, we'll do it. Absolutely, you know what I mean? There was no question of that we wouldn't, or money or anything like that. And so what we did was, I had a video camera which I got for my 21st birthday, because I've always liked cameras and stuff. And so I had that. And then we hired a lamp from Filmbase, I think, somewhere. Cine Electric out in Sandyford. And then we got Re-Raw. We went into Re-Raw and said, can we borrow the nightclub for the day? So we used the space in the nightclub floor.
Yeah.
And we just put a light in and went, ta-da, this is our studio for the day. So we did.
And it worked well?
And it worked fine. It was a bit of a smell of beer, but sure, no different to any other day. So that was our casting. So then it kind of, we had meetings and we followed everything up, and we were sort of careful about it all and steady with it all, and we went to the theatre. We did, I suppose, what we thought we were supposed to do, but work begets work. So as soon as we got our first commercial, then the company liked what we did, and then of course we would get another one, and that's kind of how it happened. Exactly. And then so we live in Ireland, so it's a lot of word of mouth and recommendation and stuff like that, and they are good, they'll do it, or this person's not available, we can use that person. So then when Orla got cast in The Wind That Shakes the Barley, she moved to London, and so she pursued her acting obviously full time, and so then it was a case of whether I would continue it or not. And that was at the time in 2006 when we were doing our first feature called 32A, with Marion Quinn directing, and so I just stuck with it, and I've never looked back.
Can I ask what you think the most challenging aspect of the transition from going from acting to casting was for you?
I don't think there was any challenge.
It was a joy?
Yeah, it was a total joy. People at the time, people now don't know that I acted back then, but people at the time were like, oh my God, don't you miss acting? And I never, ever, ever did. And I go to the theatre all the time, and I kind of wonder, because as a teenager, I was the one in the audience going, I want to be up on that stage. And now I'm like, thank God I don't have that stage. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so you don't miss it at all?
No.
Wow.
Not a sausage. Like, no way. No.
That's strange.
Yeah. If like, and at the very beginning, people were like, why don't you do that part? No. Like, I never did, because it would be a conflict. But it just kind of went away. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think I just found the right place, that way. And I suppose if you think about, like, the interest in law, which is quite businessy and contracty and all that sort of, like, I love words and I love writing and I like the business side of it and I like the negotiation side.
Yeah.
And that's when I do kind of go, right, signed, sealed and delivered, happy days, that's like, yes, done. Equally as much as the actors. So people don't really ask about that side of it as much, but there is half of it's business and half of it's creative. So I suppose you have to be that person. Do you know what I mean?
That has that complete mixture of both. You love the business side, but you also love the art side of it as well. So
it kind of ticks all the boxes that I that I like. Hopefully, touch wood.
Good. Can you take us through a typical casting process?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So a typical casting process starts out with the script, obviously, the script and the director. We break down. There's 3 ladies now that work in my company. Well, there's 4. Basically, there's me and there's Karen Scully, who started out reading with me as an assistant. So I would have met Karen in Castaway, and then Karen left acting a couple of years ago as well and has joined and now is an associate casting director. So she would do the same process, or she would take the same steps that I would in this next question and answer, I suppose. Thursday Ging is exactly the same. She's also an associate casting director. She worked as an agent and a casting director before as well. So depending on the project, it'll be one of the 3 of us that does this thing. Obviously I oversee it, and like at the end of the day it is my company, so I'll sort of manage it, but I don't always do these bits, that way. And then we have Eva Jane as well, who assists. So we start off with the script. We read the script, we break it down, we do a cast list, we break down the scene, like we break down the cast. So say for example there's 28 casts, but we know that this part has 4 scenes, this part has 2 scenes, this part has 1 scene, this part has 1 line. So we sort of break it down like that. We also work out who's a cast, who's a special extra, who's an extra. Obviously we don't cast special extras or extras. That's a different department. So that's what we do. Then we talk to the director. Obviously we need to know who the director is, what his or her sensibility is, what kind of actors they like, what kind of actors I think will suit the world, or or the other ladies would suit the world. And what actors we can bring to the table as regards skill sets, because obviously every project is entirely different. So you're looking for a different thing in each thing. So whether it's somebody with a profile, or whether it's somebody who can do a brilliant Cockney accent, or whether it's a granny who can rollerblade, which we've had before, like a lady in her 70s. Fair play to them, they were amazing. Like, do you know what I mean?
More than one.
Oh God, we had all these elderly people on roller skates in a place in Marino. Was it Marino? That literally we were like, okay, so, and there's crash mats. Oh God almighty, it was horrible. Eventually it was a stunt person, of course, because that's, you know what I mean. But they were like, let's see. And you know what? These old people were so brilliant. They were so like, yeah, I climb mountains. I'll do this. I'll be up for it. I've never been on rollerblades in my life before, but yes, I'll do it right now. Yeah, so that was gas. So it just depends what the job.
Like, it's all different. It's all relative.
So we just work it out, what we need. And we talk to the director, and obviously we kind of do our research, as you know what I mean. If we're not familiar with the director's work, then we do a lot of research into that, and we kind of watch their stuff, and because obviously that's important.
Do you come in contact with a lot of new directors?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Often a director will be, not long out of film school, or they'll have done a short, or do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For sure. So then we just kind of then it's the process. Then it's the sort of we always do a synopsis. We always do the kind of, our emails tend to look the same. All the information is in there for the actor. The sides will be attached. The script will be attached if we're allowed to send it out. We schedule the days. I'm pretty anal as regards kind of time and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you have to be very organised. People say it's glamorous. It's not really, as in, like, you sit in a room for hours and hours and hours, and we get very little breaks, and we work really, really hard, but it's incredibly rewarding, and it's an emotional day. They tend to be very emotional because people bring their expectations and their nerves and all that stuff, and it's our place, as I say to people, it's our place to make them feel safe, and so they can be brave enough to be comfortable to do their work, I suppose.
Yeah. What was the I know it's a tough question to ask. What's the hardest project you've had to cast?
What's the hardest project? God, there's so many different ways to define hard, though. As in, like,
just for yourself. I mean, like, obviously, I know that I suppose the scope of Ripper Street would be huge for yourself.
Yeah.
But then you have something like what Richard did, where the cast would probably be half of maybe what Ripper Street was.
Is what you mean? Yeah.
Is it difficult?
No, not really. I mean, there's, I don't think of things and go, oh, that's really difficult. I mean, you kind of do go out 65 parts, that's a lot, but it's never a problem, and at this stage we're so kind of used to it that it's no issue. I mean, we did some street casting recently for The Lobster, and the only hard thing about it was that it was cold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, hello, my name is Louise, and we literally approached people on the street. But it was great crack.
Getting to meet the people.
Yeah, exactly, and people are brilliant, and then you meet somebody kind of on the street of Tralee, and then they come in to the Central Hotel in Dublin, and they're amazing. So, like, that's the only thing that is, the only, like, the only hard things is that sometimes we just get very little sleep because we work a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only hard thing, but I don't, sometimes the deals can be a bit stickier, but sure, like, that's life,
Yeah, that's in every business.
There's nothing that I kind of, at this stage, there's nothing that gives me, like, oh God, this won't work. That way?
Yeah.
Because it's always a way.
What do you think are the main skills of a casting director? If you'd say give us 3 bullet points of what they need.
Okay. You need to be organised. You need to be, I don't know what the word is. It's like, you need to have an emotional nosiness connection, something. There's a word for that with people.
Okay.
So what the one word that I'm trying to find would say that when you're talking to somebody, like empathy. There you go.
Okay.
You have to have an empathy with the person because you have to be able to feel that character. You have to be able to feel and feel that person as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just kind of gauge people. So yeah, organised. You have to be empathetic, and I don't know. Nosy. Yeah, it's the same thing. You just
really?
have to, yeah, totally. I am, like, totally nosy about people, because it's like, you might meet somebody who does a rubbish audition, but they in real life are like a certain thing, and they have a quality which is just indefinable, and unless you talk to that person or investigate that person or stare at them. I'm a terrible starer. Like, really, in the car I'm just like, stop staring. Actually, I'm not telling myself, my boyfriend's telling me to stop staring at people. But you need, like, that indefinable quality that somebody has.
Yeah.
If you can then match that with the character, or if that's what the character has, that's gorgeous. But unless you kind of intently investigate people, you won't find that,
No, that actually leads me on to the next question, because I was about to ask you that, like, auditioning is a skill within itself. Whatever you learn in acting, auditioning is something completely different to go into. Is that, are there times when you feel an actor is well suited for a part but they haven't done a good audition?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
How do you deal with that? Do you let them do it again? Do you get them back in, or you do?
All of those things, yeah, of course. I mean, there's no way they're going to get the part if everybody's not 100% secure that they're right, or that they're capable of doing it, because obviously there's money involved and time and all that sort of stuff, and somebody's work. But if somebody comes in and it doesn't work,
does that happen often? Do you mind me asking?
Not really. Do you know what? It only happens if you kind of go, I think this is definitely it. I think this is definitely it, and then the person comes in and they're having an off day. and say the director is not familiar with them, so you can't, I mean, you can show them other work, but you can't, it's like that thing that I was talking about, that quality, I can't pull it out of them and show it to the director if they're not bringing it themselves that day. And you know what, everyone has a bad day, so people generally trust me that they'll say that if I say we'll bring them in again if you don't mind, and then that's absolutely fine, or I'll tape with them, and generally directors are kind of pretty cool that they'll go, no, let's just take our time and, you know, bring them in for an hour, and if you really feel like this, Louise, and if I really do, then we'll just do it again and again. Okay.
It's good that you give them that chance. I think a lot of people, I think the perception with a lot of people would be that when they go in for the audition, you get one shot, that's it, and if it doesn't go well,
no,
it's done. But that's not how it is. No. It's completely different.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, sometimes, like as in, you know, sometimes you're not going to hear. You know what I mean? We do try and tell people if they, you know, if we're all cast and stuff, but it could be weeks and weeks and weeks later when we're all cast, and it's, you know, and if you don't, you know, if it's a part and you come in, it's hard. It's easy, you're supposed to think that you're forgotten about, but you're not. Do you know?
We're going to get into the business side of the casting, okay? Those factors that influence why an actor may or may not get the part outside of their control. The question I'd like to ask is, how important is networking and the connections that you make compared to your actual acting ability?
I think networking is just a word that gives me bile in my stomach.
It's horrible. I completely agree, but I think one of the most frustrating things for an actor would be for them to go for an audition and to find they think it went so well and so right, but somebody got the part because they knew somebody else, and which has and happens in jobs, it happens in work, but in acting as well, I think it's something that happens quite often. Or does it happen? I'm not sure.
There is no way that an actor would get a job unless they were right for it, or unless they not. Well, I mean, you know what, 5 people could be right for it, but unless they were able to do that job in a really, really, really right sense for the director. Now, sometimes the director will go, I've worked with that person before, I feel safe in their presence and I feel secure. Of course that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But networking and being in a certain place at a certain time just because people are going to be there just is false.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like, personally, I just want to let your work speak for itself. You know what I mean? Of course, like, you know, of course you want to kind of get in front of the casting director or the director, you know, but approaching them in one of those situations, unless it's actually called networking party, you know, like it's an unusual situation, and it's not going to get you work.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I quite like doing those master classes. I did one today for Cine Magic. Actually, I very much like doing them because it means I can chat to people in a nice kind of, you know, easy way, but then they get to do their stuff, and that's what I remember. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody's a very nice person. Like, the people that I met today are incredibly nice, but what's most valuable for me was these clips that I will take home.
Yeah.
And as I said to them, you know, myself and Karen and Thursday very much share information. It's kind of strength in numbers. If somebody meets somebody, like, they'll tell me, Louise, this person's great, remember her. I'll say, Karen, remember that person. We literally go, we'll, like, one of us will see a show and just feed it back to the others.
Yeah.
So that's the best way I can tell about somebody is them in action. I can, like, I'm, you know, I meet people for coffee. I'm doing it today, and generally they're very pleasant, but I have no idea, unless they have a reel that they can send me a link of, I've no idea if they're any good or not, and so it's not very valuable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So as regards an actor getting a, you know, I don't know, all I would say is, if you don't get the part, it's hard regardless, you know?
Agreed.
But I would never cast somebody just because they're somebody else's mate.
That's pretty cool. You regularly hold open castings, invite audition submissions by self-represented actors. How important is that? I mean, I know as well, I will touch on it later on with technology, but how important is having, like, YouTube and Vimeo, that people can just send their show reels and you have them instantly?
It's essential.
It's essential too.
Yeah, it is. It's 2014. Do you know what I mean? Like, we live in, it's so simple. Everybody has an iPhone or a smartphone. like stills cameras have a little video on them. Vimeo allows you up to like a certain amount of space a week for free. It's so simple. It's do you know what I mean? It's the easiest thing in the world.
You're on a Snapchat, are you?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god, I would be hounded.
You were on Snapchat. I was just waiting. I was like, it's going to get to the stage where people are going to start sending their actors CVs of Snapchat and stuff like that. So
yeah. Although you do appreciate a bit of innovation as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
But not at 12 o'clock at
night. From those auditions, the invite audition submissions and stuff like that, the average number of submissions you get?
Depends on the job.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if a lot of the time we put it out on Spotlight in England as well. Mm-hmm. So then you're talking like a lot, you know.
In the hundreds?
Yeah, of course. Easily. Yeah, no, 1,000 up.
How do you filter through that?
Just time and energy and a bit of focus. I work a lot in the evening times. I like to be quiet when do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's literally just kind of filtering through, and you know, if there's a CV there that has a link to a show reel, we'll probably watch it for a very short space of time. I mean, also, as I say, there are 3 of us, so it does help that, like, you know, Thurza can do it or Karen can do it as well, that we can just literally, but we do try, and I mean, we certainly save every single suggestion and nothing is ignored, you know what I mean? It's all done. There's a system for everything.
Is there anything
try and address all of them?
Is there anything in particular you look for in your show reels? Or even how long they should be, or should they give a wide variety of stuff, or should they be more like specific to what the audition is? Or
well, now there's 2 different things there. So your show reel is the obviously the thing which is your thing. You're basically, it's general, so it's going to have everything. So if you have 3 or 4 clips from projects that you've done, that's ideal. Okay. Some of them do this kind of music video at the beginning, and that's personally, I just don't like that, because it just takes time, and it, you know, it's a lovely little montage of people, but it doesn't, it's not for me. So so I just like to watch clips that are relevant, you know, kind of a minute is absolutely perfect. So if your show reel is 5 minutes, that's absolutely great. And then the self-taped audition is when we've sent you the sides. So you've done the sides with a reader, and you've sent them to us via WeTransfer.com. So it's different. So your show reel will be on Vimeo. It'll just be on a link. We don't save it. Whereas we like to receive the files on WeTransfer, so that we save it, and then we can upload it into our private album then of the character.
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
I do. Advice to actors preparing for an audition. You knew this question was coming.
Yeah, of course, all the time. The most important thing is just to be prepared. Just to do your work. As I say to people, just bring your A game. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Make the character as close to yourself as you possibly can. Remember not to be working in your performy voice, just in your own voice, nice and calm. It has to feel like a real human being. Learn the lines, read the script, do your research, find out who all the people are, and in ours there'll be a link to everybody, so it's not going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? IMDb is incredibly helpful. Dress for the part, bring the right props, within reason, obviously. Give yourself enough time, as in obviously be on time, but if you're the half an hour before person, then be there half an hour before. If you're the kind of I just want to go and I just want to do it person, then that's what you should do. As I say to people, there's no way in which you can get rid of nerves. There just isn't. They just exist, and they won't go away, and that's just the truth. So find a way in which to deal with the nerves.
Use it to your advantage.
Do you know, just live with it. It's just part and parcel. But if you are 100% off book, and if you know that script very, very well, and you know who you're going in to meet, and you're not late, or you weren't out late last night, and you're dressed correctly, and your hair looks nice, and your skin has little or no makeup on, but it's fresh. Do you know what I mean? And you have your bottle of water, you're in the best possible way you can, and then it's my job to relax you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I was saying to people today, actually, and it really, really it's really true for me, is that you can feel nervous in your tummy, and you can have shaky hands, and you can be a bit discombobulated in your head. But what's amazing is that very little of that reads on camera. So the nerves don't project or something. Now, sometimes if somebody has a little bit of a dry mouth, that's fine, but then that's just water, you know. But this little thing in your head, that's because I remember it so well, going, oh my God, I'm so scared right now. I just, like, this is the most horrible experience of my whole entire life. Like, we see so little of that. I mean, I can feel it as a person.
Yeah. I
can feel that you're nervous. Do you know what I mean? Of course I can, but
it's probably something that when you're in the room and you're there, you'll feel it.
Yeah, exactly. But
when it translates onto the video,
exactly. So that's hopefully reassuring for the actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Is there any common mistakes that they make? That people make, that it's just kind of, you're thinking everything's going right and then one thing happens and you just go, that set you down.
No, I wouldn't say. I would say everyone loses a line, but it's not the end of the world. Okay. It's more about, like for me, it's more about everyone makes the same mistakes, and if you come and you're prepared, like, I'm not going to be cross in any shape or form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just go again. The person who needs to be forgiving of themselves is the actor, because sometimes if they feel that they've thrown it or blown it, do you know what I mean? Or if they've blown it by losing their line, then they can't sort of find their way back. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So it's at that moment in time when they do lose their line to go, okay, that's actually over and it doesn't mean anything, and now I'm just going to move on and I'm going to start from zero again and I'm going to go and I'm going to be great, as opposed to that slightly defeatist thing which happens sometimes where they go, I buggered that up. Do you know what I mean?
And that's it from then, and it's so hard to get it back.
Yeah. Now, like, we will do everything in our power to reassure them, but it's such a sort of it's a job interview. Do you know what I mean? So there's all that expectation, and there's all from everybody's side, you know. So we're kind of being really polite, and you know, and you're being really polite, and it's just so we try our best, and Karen is very good at that as well, and just to kind of, and Thursday just to calm people down and maybe talk about babies and traffic and
kittens.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. How's the babies? How's the life? I was out last night. Oh, lovely dinner, lobster. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything but the job, in order just to kind of make them chill a small bit, and then and give them the focused time that they need. And people need different things, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's never. The only thing, do you know what? The only thing is if we had a guy come in yesterday, and he was a young guy, and he's doing work at the moment, but he received the sides about a week ago, and the project that he's doing doesn't mean that he has to learn loads and loads of lines, and it's, do you know what I mean, and all this stuff. Now, I think it's a nice project, but he was incredibly underprepared, and he was talking about, I'm doing this, and I'm learning all this, and I'm la 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 la. I was like, okay, dude, but you're like 23, you've had it for a week, it's one scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, to me, just my time is a little bit wasted when there's somebody who is doing a show at night and la 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 and is absolutely off book because he received it a week ago as well. So sometimes those things, but it happens so rarely. Like, the amount of work and effort and energy that actually goes into, God, we had some sessions the week before last in Dublin and London with guys, and pretty, like, a big part and a really intense part, and the scenes were just like great but very fraught, and by the end of it I was like Lula, but it astonishes me how much effort and energy goes into those big ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People go all out, like, and actually the character was described as having a kind of a leather jacket and skinny jeans, and one guy bought a jacket, which I would never recommend. Don't buy clothes for an audition, because, like, nobody wants you to be out of pocket. But what I'm saying is that everyone was dressed bang on. Do you know what I mean?
For the role.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
The part.
And there was guys with lots and lots of experience, and there was a couple of guys with no experience at all, and you know, and they just came in and everyone just rocked it and looked great, you know.
Well.
Yeah. So nobody's lazy, which is amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's the best audition you've ever had?
Are you talking about me personally? It was the one that I got.
Both. Has anyone come in that you just went, oh my god?
Loads of times.
Really?
Loads of times.
Care to name any names?
I'm trying to think.
How was Jack's audition?
Yeah, I mean, amazing. But we kind of knew him before. Like, he was amazing, though. I remember the first time I met Art Parkinson, actually. Art is... he's done Game of Thrones. He plays Rickon Stark. He's a young boy.
Oh, yeah.
and we met him a couple of years ago for Earthbound, and he didn't end up playing the part. Somebody else did, who was living in Dublin, but he had been cast in this thing, Game of Thrones, and he was like 8 or something. His mother will argue with me now. No, he was 7 or 6 or 9. Anyway, he was really small, and the part was tiny. And himself and they came, and me and Karen were just going, oh my God, that child is amazing. And now he's gone on, he's doing big movies and everything, like really big. But I remember kind of going, oh wow, that's that boy. I must remember that boy. He was really good, and we've cast him loads of times since. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad for you it happens all the time that you get to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there one that got away? Is there one that, you know, you ended up going, yeah, we cast them, but in the back of your mind you went,
somebody else
should have got that, looking back at it in the future? No. I'm trying to think. I don't have a very good short-term memory. There's nobody that I was disappointed watching ever. To be honest, I kind of forget who was in the mix and stuff, that I go, no, there's nobody that stands out anyway. No. Good. I'm always incredibly proud. I do feel a bit maternal. I know people are like, oh, maternal, but I kind of watch it, go, Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, it's good that you've the absolute 100%. You're like, yes, I'm so happy with that no matter what happens. Yeah.
Well, do you know what I mean? Because like, even if you're a bit kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, then what they produce is amazing, because people are great. So like, and also like, they're incredibly well supported, because then they go on set and they do it as many times as need be, and they get well edited, and do you know what I mean? So nobody's going to make you look bad at all, and nobody is bad in the first instance, but it will only improve, you know, that way. What I say to actors sometimes is that they have the unsavoury job, I suppose, of having to do the entire scene from A to Z in one shot in an audition, which they'll never have to do on set. Yeah. So they've got to do like their own parts. They've got to do the sort of incredibly hard listening parts, which is the most important parts. Yeah. And see the entire scene through. And sometimes it's 3 or 4 pages. Do you know? And if there's any kind of dip or any kind of missing bit, or the energy flags, or we'll just do it again. And so what you're expected, not you're expected, of course you're not, sure, Jesus, people, like, nobody's superhuman, but like, ideally we do the entire scene, and people do it. They come in and they know that scene so well, every single beat, and they do it, the whole thing, and that's really, really hard. Whereas on set they'll be cut with the other person. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Do you think then for a classically theatre trained actor, it's easier for them to do something like that then? You know, like, they'll have their scene and they have to do the scene straight through, and they'll have that, and that's how they'll have rehearsed it, compared to a film actor who will have been used to cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts. So.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I think like theatre has, like, coming from theatre has its own restrictions, because people over rehearse. Do you know what I mean? As in, and
that's a common thing that's been said to us, is that our theatre trained actors, they overact. Yeah, but that's because that's the way they've been taught.
Well, I don't know if it's overacting as much as, like, it feels to me like it's over rehearsing and it's performed. So it's like, when I'm on stage, I'm allowed to, do you know what I'm not turn to Lawrence Olivier, but like, do you know? But like, you know, like, it's kind of a different thing. It's not sort of bare and naked and raw. It's performed and accomplished. Yeah. You know, and so when you bring that to the screen, it's hard to hear what they're saying, because they're doing it in a performing voice. So we just take that away.
Did you find that with the Gaiety? When you studied there, did you...
We didn't do much acting for camera. We did 2 weeks acting for camera. It sort of wasn't in vogue then, I think, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, cause, I mean, the only place that we know that does the acting for camera is the Factory, and they seem to...
Oh, but that's particularly for the Factory. Exactly. Particularly for film. Do you know?
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah.
But
absolutely, and like, welcome. I mean, it would be great to do both somewhere, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be great to have, like,
I think they do it in the Gaiety now.
They do, but I think, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's as evenly split as people would like.
Right.
We listen to EIT.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay, 50-50.
No, not 50-50, but they get Vinnie Murphy in for 3 months. Actually.
Wow, that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But you're right, it could be more.
Yeah, it would be quite good, wouldn't it? Have a course called 50-50. We call it 50-50. So it's I think people that, like, I know that I just had no idea coming out of the Gaiety how to act on camera at all. And people say you have to be a character. And of course you have to be a character, but you have to feel like a real human being.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Agreed. It has to be just natural.
Yeah.
And appear that way as well.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
It is, you are that person.
Just real and present and immediate and kind of normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we're having a conversation now, you know, and it's very brave, because to be yourself as a character with a camera right up here is a very naked place to be. Do you know what I mean?
It's probably the toughest thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, do I have the thing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be brave enough. So to get that is a very brave space. So that's what I just think they're amazing. People are amazing when they're able to do that, you know?
Yeah, it is great. It's great that people have that talent.
Yeah.
Have LA or London ever come knocking?
No.
If they did,
I'd be gone. No, I wouldn't. No.
You're happy in Ireland?
Yeah, I love it.
Good.
I mean,
what do you love about it?
What do I love about it? That's a good question. I just love Dublin. I like my life here. I like the industry. I like the people that I work with. I have no kind of the grass is greener thing at all. Do you know what I mean? I mean, sometimes there'll be a job which is collaborative. So like we'll go to the BBC for a day and we'll do something over there, or I mean, if something brought me to America, I wouldn't argue with that either for a couple of days casting. There's no harm in that. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't like to move there. And I like the size of Ireland. There's only a couple of us really. Like there's a handful of casting directors, and so luckily there's only 10, I suppose, or 8. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So luckily somebody has to do the job. So we're in good kind of, there's not too much competition in that way, you know. And somebody did say to me before, I have an agent myself, and when we met, we talked about whether London was the next step, and I just said at that point, no, like I have no interest in living in London. I like London, it's fine, my friends live there and I go there and I do work there, but I don't want to live there, no.
Ireland is home.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a difference in the amount of projects in production now compared to the boom times?
Do you know what? I only started in 2005.
Okay.
So
it would have only been 3 years before. Yeah,
and we were lucky to get our first movie in 2006. So I never was rich. Do you know what I mean? As in, we were only building our reputation at that time.
Yeah.
So I never kind of felt the effects really, that way. I mean, Jesus, we're really lucky that we have the 481 and we have Ireland as an attractive place to come and make film and television, because bizarrely, I mean, I can't talk for the industry because obviously I only know one little job and that's mine. We've been really busy over the last couple of years, and my mother's don't say it too loud, it'll make it go away. Everybody's on the bleeding dole and people can't work and people are leaving and all this hideous stuff, and we're turning down work.
Yeah.
That's mad. So somebody's done something right.
Yeah.
In order for the film industry to kind of to thrive in this. It's brilliant. It's touch wood. It's absolutely brilliant. And the film board has stayed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I have to say, I feel like we're incredibly well supported as an industry.
I think so. I think
do you know?
we owe a lot of it to Michael D. Higgins.
Yeah.
He's helped so much.
Yeah.
He's been a great ambassador for Ireland and the film industry in general. He's been such a help.
For sure.
Is there anything you'd like to see changed in the Irish film industry yourself? Is there anything that you've seen that you went, I wish that was done differently?
I don't really think about things that much. I don't, as in, I'm trying to think of some kind of clever answer, but I actually, no, I mean, not really. I mean, it feels to me that people are incredibly creative, and I'm continuously astonished by how good people are. Like even Jared Barrett that I was working with last year was like 24, making Glassland, and an incredibly self-possessed man, really, really nice, and knew what he wanted. So people are coming out of college very well adjusted. Maybe it's because like you're all like products of the boom. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like we're like children in the boom. You were like, you're perfect. We're great. Yeah. So like so there's a lot of like the young people like are amazing. The actors are great. I don't know. You see what like I don't know the industry. I only know my little section. You know that way. Mm-hmm. As a whole, I couldn't answer. I don't know.
I think you would have heard recently about the factory closing and stuff like that. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought they were moving.
Yeah, I think the actual factory isn't closing down itself. I think it's just the premises they've been asked to vacate.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And they will be finding some place. But here's hoping that it's not completely closing down.
No, I don't know, but for a fact, but my understanding was that they were moving. Exactly. I mean, the factory space is brilliant. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a shame because it's a lovely place.
Yeah.
Could do a few heaters. It's the cold. But apart from
not
that...
now, it's sunny outside now.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's grand in the summer. But it's a lovely place, and it feels like a lovely place for actors to go.
Yeah.
And obviously the people that work there are incredibly creative and like brilliant. But surely they'll find another space.
Oh, you'd imagine so, but I suppose the space that they had was so nice.
It's
such
a shame.
good
Like,
location.
I know that people. Yeah, it's like somebody I read somewhere that it's like Google's just taken over the street or something.
Yeah, Google is taken there, and I think it's close enough to where Facebook is as well. And it's
of
it's the
That's
Silicon
street.
Valley of
Dublin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I just assumed that they were moving.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I think they are going, but wherever they will go.
Yeah.
I suppose how important is the factory to yourself? Do you get a lot of actors coming from the factory and stuff? Loads.
Yeah, loads. It's a great. Yeah, it's. I go in and I do 2 sessions. For Maureen, obviously, who's the casting director in there, and lovely lady. 2 sessions a year, and they're brilliant. Yeah, and the actors are very well oiled, I suppose.
Yeah.
Coming into auditions then, and incredibly pleasant and very talented. So yeah, great. I mean, I have to say the more sort of workshops we do and the more people that we get to see, the better. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's a very vital resource because last year we cast loads of them, you know.
In everything, like
lots of things.
Pretty much everything.
Lots of Ripper Streets. I think there was a couple in Damon Ivor. I know Nika McGuigan was in Stay, but I think Nika was in that before she was in the factory. But yeah, loads. Elva Trill, lots of times she's fab. Sheila Moylette, yeah, they're terrific, absolutely great.
Great.
Yeah.
You read a lot of scripts, obviously.
Yes.
Roughly how many a week?
Depends. The Catalyst project had a deadline. They're basically the Catalyst project. You know the Catalyst project that they
actually don't.
Oh no. Okay, so there's this low budget incentive which is really good, and they're going to make I think 3 or 4 short feature films for about 350,000. And so they had this these like workshops, and you join up as a writer and a producer, or a director and a producer. Anyway, these teams. So they put together their scripts over the kind of however long period, and then they present, and then they put it into the film board, who put together a short list, and then they have an interview stage and blah blah. So their application forms were a couple of weeks ago, and we read a lot of scripts that week.
Really?
It's like, sorry, the application form has to be in on Friday. Yeah, come here, give us a couple of ideas for this, will you? Generally, a couple of weeks, 3 a week. Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
Well, while you were at that, then again brings me on to the next question. Okay. Genres and themes.
Yeah.
What are the ones that particularly occupy Irish writers?
Ooh.
There must be a few that come up that you kind of go, it's the same. You know, the same one comes up. Is there somebody like I suppose, crime?
Yeah.
It's probably a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's the same stuff all the time. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, nobody's writing about cocktails and silver cars anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people are writing about what's current, You know, people are writing about a lot of people. Well, a lot of those actually, the catalyst scripts tend to be a lot about people leaving, and you know what I mean, and or coming back, or people losing their jobs, or people's, like, a lot about sort of early 20s kind of leaving, and I suppose death within the family, all that, you know. That sort of
the kind of recurring themes that have,
you know,
that have come about already.
And you know, people seem to have kind of, it doesn't matter whether it's kind of middle class or working class or whatever class it is, but within that, as you know, the kind of truthful themes of family and love and alienation and sadness and loss, and you know what I mean.
Is there any scripts that you read that you think to yourself, this is, and it's kind of off the wall, something that you just kind of go, even like something like sci-fi where you go, wow, this is actually great. This actually should be a television show. Oh,
well, I only read the ones that are about to...
They're just about to be made.
Yeah, okay. Or else are in development, so have a chance of being made.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So, the ones that I read this week, both were brilliant the other day. The Lobster is brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's brilliant. And there's something been published about, you know, dystopian and but it's, I mean, if you've seen Dogtooth, you'll know that the director's called Yorgos Lanthimos, and
I think I've seen some of it. I don't think I've seen all of it, but I think I've seen some of it. Yes.
Yeah. So Dogtooth, I mean, is I thought it was absolutely brilliant when I saw it, and quite surreal. So equally, The Lobster has, you know, it's but it's brilliant. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So it's maybe a little bit more different, but it's brilliant, and I like all that bonkers stuff. Do you know? I really do. I just think it's it's
good. It's different.
Yeah,
it's different. And I think that's probably what Ireland needs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had Earthbound a couple of years ago, which was great fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the spire and everything being a spaceship. I think I just gave away the ending. No.
Yeah, for anyone that's watched that or was about to watch it, forget about it.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Do watch it.
Yes, you've just missed everything.
Yeah, so, no.
The best and the worst advice you've received.
That I've received?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Wow. The best advice. The best advice, I think, in a work sense, was that somebody said that there's room for everybody. Which I don't know, is that advice? Is that advice? But basically what she said was that there's room for everybody, and so, you know, if you're thinking about starting out doing something, and there's people already in the business, don't worry, there's room for everybody. There'll always be enough, you know, that way.
Yeah.
So I would never tell somebody not to do something because, oh no, that person is really busy. So, you know, if a casting director starts now, I'm like, grand, go for it. Do you know what I mean? As in, of course, there'll be room for it. It'll be fine. We'll all survive. Nobody's going to have a conniption. Do you know what I mean?
Is there many starting up, or has there been an influx or anything like that?
Well, yeah, a couple of years ago, 2 girls started, and they were doing well, but then I'm not sure what happened. And yeah, I mean, people join, and you know what I mean, and yeah,
it's business.
It's exactly. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that yeah. And I suppose my mother, obviously, she tells me everything she says is correct. I hope she listens to this.
That's every mother. Everything is always correct.
Yeah.
I hope my nan's listening as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the worst advice you've received?
I don't know. I'm so stubborn. I listen to most of it anyway. The worst advice I've ever received. I'm thinking it's something to do with my car. Maybe it's like you don't need a car. I don't know. It's like something to my car. My car is like, ugh, my car. I learned to drive really late, and I'm a rubbish driver, and it terrifies me. And maybe it was something like you don't need to drive, because you do need to drive. And I'm saying this like, if you're 17 years of age and you're listening to this, learn to drive, because it only gets more difficult as you get older. Yeah.
That's great advice to be giving the people of the young actors out there. Forget about your acting. Driving is where it's at. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, and also, I don't think anybody said anything particularly, you know, not that I kind of took anyway and got wrong then because of. Do you know what I mean?
That's good. That's good that you haven't really been given bad advice.
I'm sure I have. Sounds very, yeah.
Right, to finish off,
yes,
we generally do this thing where we do you watch Friends?
Yes.
Have you ever seen an episode where Phoebe comes in to, or Joey's going to go and do like a film audition, but he doesn't know whether to take the North route? The Bearded Bees! Right, so you know how to play the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Film or theatre?
Film.
Tea or
Actually,
coffee?
that's so weird, I didn't know that.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Soccer or rugby?
Oh god, rugby.
Hitchcock or Kubrick?
Kubrick.
Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Game of Thrones.
Cork or Dublin?
Dublin.
Comedy drama?
Drama. That I didn't now relieve my mind there. I thought about that one. Sorry, go on.
Acting or casting?
Casting.
Casting. Before I go, who do you think killed Joffrey?
I haven't watched it.
No! I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Yes, I haven't started that yet.
You haven't started anything?
Oh god, no, I totally have. But
oh my
I haven't
god, I
started
just completely ruined it on you.
Yeah,
I thought you would watch Game of Thrones.
No, I totally have. I've watched up until the end of the last one, but I'm holding off to watch. But that's good to know, though. So
I
thank
am
you for that.
so sorry. I will never ask. I'm just. Have you watched Breaking Bad? I'm going to. No, you know what? I'm just going to keep it. I'm not even going to say anything. I feel horrible now.
It's totally fine. In lots of ways, I'm glad.
Oh, everyone's glad.
Yeah.
Everyone's glad, but it's the biggest.
So that was the
That's the big commotion.
Yeah, because I saw a lot on Twitter about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a big commotion of it's like the biggest whodunit since Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Did it?
Yeah,
Who Shot Mr. Burns? That was gas. That was Maggie.
That was Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it's huge at the moment. Everyone's just wondering who. Of course, you just read the books, you know straight away. But
oh yeah, my brother, he would read. He knows.
He?
Yeah. He's read them over and over.
I don't read the books. At least it'll keep some bit of surprise, and
yeah,
I won't be ruining anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So
next time, Dave.
Louise, thank you very much for talking to us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking me. It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Think we're done. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. That
Thanks
was fun.
very much.
Apart from that, I'm sorry.
It's totally fine. I'm going to go home and tell Darren. Guess what, Joffrey's